Just who said that Monday has to be a crappy day? Who said that Monday has to be a crappy day? That's what I want to know. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. Welcome to the New Cosmic Knowledge Channel. Welcome to all of you. I'm glad that you're here. And we're going to talk today about something that is very powerful indeed. Scotty Roberts, my brother from another mother, to be sure, says that Mondays rock. I agree with him. A little bit of a different look today because I have a subject that's so important that I put together a Wayne Steiger style PowerPoint presentation. Hello, Warrior Princess. You are a true warrior and a true princess. Thank you for the work that you do for all of the people that need it. And we really appreciate who you are. We really appreciate what you do. And if you don't know who she is, you need to go check out the work that she does. So we've got a Wayne Steiger type presentation for you today, a PowerPoint presentation. So you know what? I love the Macintosh computer. I really do. I love the way it works, but I got to tell you something. If there's a Mac developer out there listening to me, Macintosh Pages, iBooks, horrible, terrible, beyond my ability, or at least my patience, to use them. They're just the worst. They're rotten to the core. So I'm on my IBM PC and I'm using PowerPoint. So I hope it's not death by PowerPoint. I really do. But it's going to be PowerPoint and it's a little bit of a different view. I hope that you can stand it. And if you can't, you could just turn off the picture and listen to the sound. But I think it's something that's going to be very, very powerful. I think it's something that's going to be very, very important to you. And unfortunately, it's one of those times where most of the time I like doing what I do. Most of the time I like bringing the messages that I bring. This isn't one of those times so much. I'm becoming a little more sensitive. I'm becoming a little more kind. I think I'm becoming a little more gentle. I'm getting a little more in touch with my feminine side. Probably some thanks go to Sandra D, my sweetheart, for that. And I don't really like coming on here and blasting things that I know that a lot of y'all really like. I don't truly like coming on here and blasting things that I think that it's possible that a lot of you all might love. I get tired sometimes of being the cop. I really do. I get tired sometimes of being the bad guy. But as Deion Sanders once told me, brother, you got to stay in your anointing. What that means is if you're gifted to do something, you need to keep doing that thing. And this is definitely CWB work, but it's more like New Age whistleblower work as well. And I tell you, I always thought, and I was always convinced that the Pentecostal people are the most gullible people on the planet, but that might not be true. They've definitely got some competition from the New Age movement. They got some competition from folks like us. Hello to you in Thailand. And I understand I'm tough to take. My own lovely mother, who I love dearly, I go visit her a lot, and sometimes she will say to me, "Look, you've got to go home. You talk too much. I need some time." I will tell Brother Jeff you said, "Hey, I hope you saw Brother Jeff this earlier today smoking trolls." And I know Sandra loves me, but every now and then I'm starting to see that look in her eye too, that I see in my mom's eye. So I understand that half of you hate me, half of you love me. That's just the way it is. That's my burden to bear. But I have to talk to you today about something called light language. And I bring to you today, I think, a thoroughly unique perspective. Having spent 20 full years as an evangelist in the Pentecostal charismatic movement, and now, Lord have mercy, almost 20 years in the alternative information genre. I tell you what, it's interesting. So I bring a very unique perspective, and whether you love me, whether you hate me, whether you want me to shut up and go home, I think that this is going to be interesting for you. And we're going to talk about light language. And we're going to talk about it from what I believe will be a thoroughly unique perspective. And it'll be a perspective that is thoroughly and completely researched and lived. And I think that's the key, because it's one thing to live, and it's another thing to just yak. And I was talking to Sandra about that the other day. I don't know how many of you know her background, but a lot of us, we do a lot of this. We talk about, how much we've done. We talk about how much we've grown, and we talk about where we're going and what we're doing. But Sandra's actually done it. So that makes a big difference. In this situation, I've done it. So I think that I'm speaking to you with some authority. I think I'm speaking to you at least with some credibility that it would do you well to consider. So with that, let's just go right into the light language presentation. And I hope that I can do this seamlessly with the PowerPoint. So, and the question I'm asking, and I won't be able to see the chat unless I go back and forth, so we'll be a little bit less chatty in this program, and it's probably appropriate because it's a lot of language, it's a lot of information for you to download and to consider. So the question I ask is light language an archonic mind control virus? And of course, you're at the new Cosmic Knowledge channel. So as we move forward and talk about this, let's define our terms. We're going to talk about what light language is. And I'm going to try to use my inside voice and stop screaming. We're going to talk about what the leading proponents of light language say it does. And if you want to see a lot of videos, don't do it now, but while you're on YouTube, type in light language and hit search. And there's thousands and thousands of videos on light language. That's why I'm talking about it. And I think it's something that's gaining steam. So what is light language? What do leading proponents of light language say it does? What are the anthropological implications of light language? What are the Pauline Christianity implications with light language? What are the Jesuit implications on light language? And having assimilated all this information, what do you think? And how do you think that you'll approach it? So starting off, number one, what is light language? Light language, we'll just read this, and I think it'll become apparent what light language is. According to some of the top proponents of the light language genre, and I know what it takes to get to the top spots on Google, so I'm looking at the top 3 placements on Google as experts on light language. And one of them is named Jamie Price, Jayme Price of jamieprice.com. And Jamie Price says that light language speaks directly to your DNA, is activating and recoding your personal vibrational signature. As your higher self activates the light language, much of its clarity is within the trust of the unknown. Breaking through mental barriers by opening heart barriers most often. It's not a word-for-word translation. It's a deeply layered alchemical transmission of information that creates specific information. And if you listen to it and look at that, it says much of its clarity is in the trust of the unknown. So as I read through Jamie Price's description and what light language is, and we'll just go on to the next page. I'll tell you what light language is. Basically new age speaking in tongues. So you can see why I'm interested in it. And I'm really trying to use my inside voice. I'm very passionate about this. I don't want to be doing this. I feel like I have to do this to help some people. So I'm trying to use my inside voice. Send me some good juju right now if you can. Light language is basically new age speaking in tongues. And the thing that always frustrated me with Pentecostals and charismatics is their tremendous propensity for buying high and selling low. As soon as the world was finished with something, the Pentecostals decided it was the big thing. Heavy metal. Striper comes along at the end of the heavy metal craze and just looks silly. You know, a lot of the musical genres that way. Making movies, you know, all of a sudden, it's just Christians, and especially Pentecostal Christians, are famous for buying high and selling low, jumping on a bandwagon when it's not even rolling anymore. But anyway, and I think that's what the New Age might have done, because the New Age light language really is nothing more than Christians speaking in tongues. And I'm going to prove that from the very people that support it. So it's not just me throwing rocks. And folks, this is big stuff. We're talking about something that speaks directly to your DNA. Do you understand that? We are talking about engaging in a practice that speaks directly to your DNA. If you get this right, man, that's awesome. You're speaking directly to your DNA. Well, it's speaking directly to your DNA because remember, it's bypassing your mental faculties. But what if you're getting it wrong? What if you're engaging in something that speaks directly to your DNA and it's not A-OK? Talking about something that activates and recodes your personal vibrational signature. How important to you is your DNA? How important to you is your personal vibrational signature? How important is your DNA to you? How important is your personal vibrational signature? And how powerful is something that can speak directly to your DNA, that can recode your DNA, that can recode your personal vibrational signature, and it does it all while bypassing your mental faculties and going straight into your heart. And what most New Agers say is their heart isn't their heart. They're off, in my humble opinion. But let's say they're right, and it does go into your heart. It bypasses your mental faculties. You're not supposed to think about it. You're not supposed to comprehend it. You're not supposed to understand it. You're just supposed to let that beep go and speak directly to your DNA. Just let that beep go and activate and recode your personal vibrational signature. Do you want to not think, not consider, not ponder, not evaluate something that is promising to speak directly to your DNA? Do you really want to not think, not ponder, not evaluate something that's going to recode your personal vibrational signature? Is that really what you want? It's a deeply layered alchemical transmission, they say, and it relies, and this is in the words of its greatest proponents, it relies on the trust of the unknown. I love you people. I've dedicated my life to serving you people. I've dedicated my life to helping you people. This is something that speaks directly to your DNA. This is something that activates and recodes your personal vibrational signature. And this is something whose proponents are advising you to let it bypass your mental faculties, go straight to your heart. It's a deeply layered alchemical transmission. And we're about to start giving you some deeply layered alchemical transmissions, working with Robert and Sandra. Boom, big stuff. And it relies on trust of the unknown, trust of the unknown. Directly affecting and recoding my DNA, activating and recoding my personal vibrational signature, and bypassing my mental faculties, alchemical transmissions, where I have to rely on the unknown. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. Let's speak objectively about it. Let's speak objectively about it. Let's speak for a minute about anthropology in light language. Some of you know, not all of you know. Soon all of you will. In about 3, 2, 1, that I have 2 years of collegiate level, fully accredited, secular college, anthropology, and geography. Some of you wondered, well, Jeff, why does Jeff always have to break everything down? Why is Jeff so empirical minded? Why is Jeff so objectively minded? Why is Jeff so scholarly a lot of the times? Because I'm trained to be scholarly. I'm trained to be objective. I'm trained to be empirical. And we really need to be. Now, do I need someone like Sandra in my life to give me a little more touchy-feely? Yeah. Do I need a little more woo-woo and she brings that? Yes, I do. Need the woo-woo. But we also need the study part of it. So I've done the scholastic work, and I know 2 years in anthropology is just enough to make you dangerous, but it is enough to make you have a respect for the empirical method. So let's talk a little bit about anthropology, and light language. And let me get out of here and bear with me just a minute because I know I'm being a little bit hard here. So we're going to look up light language, and we're going to look, no, we're not. We're going to look up glossolalia, which is speaking in tongues. And as we read this, you will see that what we're talking about, and you will see that the proponents of this agree that what we're really talking about is glossolalia. So let's share the screen now and talk about glossolalia. Glossolalia is speaking in tongues. Glossolalia is a phenomenon, and remember, this is anthropological, pure science, no religion talk here. It's a phenomenon in which people appear to speak in languages unknown to them. They find vocalization of speech-like syllables that lack any readily comprehended meaning, in some cases as a part of religious practice. It's believed to be a divine language unknown to the speaker. Pentecostal, charismatic, and now New Age. It derives from something that we don't really care. But what I want you to understand about it is that it's history. In classic antiquity, there was a lot of Greco-Roman speaking in tongues. They thought it was a divine language. There was a lot of Grecian, Alexander of Abanauticus, glossolalia. Neoplatonist philosophers, glossolalia. Early Christianity, glossolalia. St. Patrick of Ireland, who the O'Docharte clan is proud to claim as one of our clan. Of course, this was after we kidnapped him and took him back to the rocky crags of Donegal. But he was one of our clan after we kidnapped him. He was very happy. But St. Patrick spoke in tongues. Bernard of Clairvaux, Hildegard of Bingen, Thomas Aquinas, the Moravians, the Quakers, the Shakers, the Catholic Apostolic Church, the history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. Extensive references to speaking in tongues by Brigham Young, Joseph Smith, and many others. Are you interested yet? 20th century, Pentecostal charismatic movement, of which I was a long-term member of. I learned this in my in my collegiate studies. Many tribes, many indigenous tribes, many what we would call savages, which is a terrible term, speak in tongues. A lot of them speak in tongues. Speaking in tongues happens in a lot of places that we might want to say, thank goodness Sandra didn't hear what I was saying about her earlier. So, speaking in tongues, if I was to be an empirical, objective anthropologist, I would say that speaking in tongues has some dubious history and should be very carefully examined. That's me. That's my empirical background that makes me want to say that makes me want to think that, and that makes me, go to that place. So let's go back into our study here real quickly. And let's look at some more objectively speaking regarding light language and speaking in tongues. Let's look at this some more. Of course, we got to go back to the beginning and come on through, but that doesn't hurt to have some review. So we've talked a little bit about anthropology and light language. Let's talk about Christianity and light language. And lest some of you are saying, well, Jeff, you're throwing rocks. Nobody said it was like speaking in tongues. Well, when it comes to Christianity and light language, let me quote Jamie Price, #1 Google place, tons and tons of videos on YouTube about the subject. And Jamie Price, who I believe is a girl, almost certainly, says that light language is the same thing as speaking in tongues. Let me repeat that. Jamie Price, jamieprice.com, leading advocate and proponent of light language, says that light language is the same thing as speaking in tongues. Yvonne Perry, tons of videos, #2 placement, Google, light language, says, many who received the gift of speaking in tongues when they were in a religious setting have recently realized the validity of this communication with higher realms of consciousness. From a metaphysical point of view, light language allows us to communicate directly with Source without the interference of the programmed human mind. With all respect to Ms. Perry, who I'm pretty sure is a girl, or that's a really weird name. Sorry. Might be a dude out there named Yvonne somewhere, probably a French guy. Oh, my. Is that just a metaphysical point of view? That light language allows us to communicate directly with Source without the interference of the programmed human mind? Is that just a metaphysical point of view? Jamie Price says light language is the same thing as speaking in tongues. Yvonne Perry says that those that have had speaking in tongues in a religious setting have come to, through light language, realize the validity of speaking in tongues as communication with a higher realm of consciousness. Okay, if it's the same thing as speaking in tongues, and if people in religious settings that have spoken in tongues, which to people listening and watching to this, almost exclusively Christian, 99.9999999% Christian experiences. And Yvonne says that this has helped them realize the validity. Jamie says it's the same thing as speaking in tongues. Yvonne says it is the gift of speaking in tongues, and the practice of light language validates it. And I've had people that I greatly respect say to me that they believe that, he said to me, I believe, what did he say? He said, I've heard light language. I thought it was beautiful. And he said it deeply resonates with me. Really respect this person. So it's not without trepidation and humility and study that I remind you that The proponents admit that it's the same thing as speaking in tongues. The proponents admit that light language validates the idea of speaking in tongues. And here we go with little CWB. Christians speaking in tongues, upon which light language freely admits it's based. Christians speaking in tongues that the leading proponents of light language say is validated by the practice they espouse. Christian speaking in tongues is an exclusively Pauline creation. Paul started it. Paul fueled it. It's all Paul all the time. There's not a word about speaking in tongues in the entirety of Scripture that isn't penned from the grimy, stubby fingers of the Apostle Paul. And he was a strange, small, misshapen man. I'm not just being mean. Well, I am kind of, but I don't like the guy because he killed people and he enslaves people, and I don't like bullies, especially bullies that won't come out from behind their skirts and fight. But anyway, let me see if somebody's telling me, Jeff, don't say that. Jeff, don't say that. Christian speaking in tongues is an exclusively Pauline creation. Light language is based upon an exclusively Pauline creation. Light language is based upon Pauline doctrine. And I've got 20 years experience in its results. I spoke in tongues every day of my life for like 25 years. Because once I left the Pentecostal church, I was still independent, charismatic, still spoke in tongues every day of my life for hours sometimes. And I've seen the results. It's intoxicating. It's captivating. It's mind-altering. It's all-encompassing. It makes you think you're special. It makes you feel you're powerful. It makes you feel you're unique. And it makes you feel like you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof and dressed like Iron Man. Like dressed like, and you're like Superman wearing Iron Man's costume, suit, shell, whatever. You know what I mean? I've seen people captivated. I've seen people, I think, infected with the Pentecostal charismatic virus. Let's look for a moment. Let's look for a moment at the words, the teachings, the mind of Paul on this subject. And folks, this is where it comes from. This is where it comes from. I should look in the chat room for a minute, but I'm not going to do it because I think this is too important. I want to stay right on task with this. Sorry that there's not much interaction, but this is important stuff. We can interact afterwards. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, written by Paul, talking about tongues, and he says this: "For he that speaks in an unknown tongue speaks not unto men, but unto God, for no man understands him, but in the Spirit he speaks mysteries." Wait a minute. Didn't we hear something like that back here? Didn't we hear something like that back here? Didn't we hear something like that back here? Where did we see that? It bypasses your mental faculties. It goes straight into your heart. It relies on the trust of the unknown. It speaks directly to your DNA. It requires trust of the unknown. And here, from a metaphysical point of view, light language allows us to communicate directly with source without the interference of the programmed human mind. Really, Ms. Perry? From a metaphysical point of view? From a metaphysical point of view? Now, Ms. Perry, with all due respect, I don't know if you're a sloppy researcher or if you're intentionally hiding information. I'm not sure which. I'm sure you're a nice lady, but you didn't do your homework. It's not a metaphysical point of view that light language allows us to communicate directly with source without the interference of the programmed human mind. It's not a metaphysical point of view. Let me get out of this. Come on. Escape, escape. Abort, abort. It's not a metaphysical point of view. It's a Pauline point of view. For he that speaks in an unknown tongue doesn't speak to men but unto God. For no man understands him, howbeit in the spirit he speaks mysteries. Who speaks in an unknown tongue speaks not to men but to God, for no one understands him, because in the spirit he speaks mysteries. From a metaphysical point of view, we communicate directly with source without the interference of the programmed human mind. It's the same thing. It's not a metaphysical point of view. It's becoming a New Age point of view, but New Age don't equal metaphysical. And metaphysical certainly doesn't become New Age or equal New Age, as I try to use my inside voice. He that speaks in an unknown tongue speaks not unto man, but unto God. For no man understands him, because he's speaking in the spirit mysteries. If you're okay with following Pauline doctrine as a person in the New Age or in the New Thought community, okay. I think there might be one or two of you out there that might want to understand this. Now, let's see what else he has to say. What else does he have to say? What else does he have to say? For if I pray in an unknown tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. When I'm praying in an unknown tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. It bypasses my mental faculties and goes straight into my heart. Did Paul write this, or did Jamie Price write this? Oh, they both did. He that speaks in an unknown tongue speaks directly to God. He relies on the trust of the unknown. Did Jamie Price write that? Did Yvonne write that? Did Paul write that? The answer to that question is yes. Are you okay with that? I don't know what the answer to that question is. Only you can answer that. Wow. 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 So we know it's anthropologically dubious. We know it's thoroughly Pauline. And we know that the proponents and practitioners of light language want us to do the same things that Paul wanted us to do. And what was Paul doing? Paul was setting up a fear and guilt-based control matrix. Paul was saying that women should shut up. Paul was saying that women should not have any authority over a man. What would Jamie Price think about that? What would Yvonne Perry think about that? Ms. Price, Ms. Perry, do you understand that you're teaching something based upon the teachings of a man that said you shouldn't be teaching? Wow. 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 We've looked at what leading proponents say it does. We've looked at what it is. We've looked at anthropology in light language. We've looked at Pauline Christianity in light language. But wait, There's more. Johnny, show them what they've won. Let's see what's behind door number 5. The Jesuits and light language. Wow. The Jesuits and light language. Your friendly neighborhood Jesuits who started the Counter-Reformation, who were deeply involved in the Inquisition, who've been involved in infiltrating and deceiving and killing, maiming, murdering in the name of the Pope. The Jesuits, via Saint Teresa, are the modern progenitors of Christian speaking in tongues. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I love you, because I care about you. Saint Teresa was the first great ecstatic teacher within the Catholic Church. She was intimate, and I don't mean intimate in a non-nun kind of way, but I mean hung out with, was part of. She was everything but a Jesuit. They wouldn't let girls be Jesuits then or now. Although I read something that they're considering. It ain't going to happen. Don't believe it. Ignatius of Loyola, Father Ribera, who wrote all of eschatology, and this lady were the 3 ringleaders of the Counter-Reformation movement. Saint Teresa was famous for, you guessed it, speaking in tongues, famous for prophecies, famous for ecstatic utterances, i.e., speaking in tongues. If you don't believe me, do the homework. It's true. Paul created it. It's Paul's birth child. The creator of the Christian fear and guilt control matrix. The creator of women are to be silent. The creator of women are not allowed to have authority over man. The creator of women were created for men's use sexually. Paul, the creator of if a woman doesn't have a man covering her or owning her is the word in the Greek, then she'd be having sex with every kind of unclean spirit. I didn't say these things. Don't get mad at me. I'm telling you what Paul said, the guy who invented the thing that you say light language validates. The guy that invented the thing that you say is a thing because it's the same thing as that Paul thing of speaking in tongues, and it's the same thing that was revved up in the 16th century by the Jesuits via Saint Teresa. How do you feel about something that speaks directly to your DNA, that activates and recodes your personal vibrational signature, that bypasses your mental faculties and goes straight into your heart, that is a deeply layered alchemical transmission, and it relies on you trusting the unknown, and oh, by the way, it's based on dubious anthropology. It is of exclusively Pauline and Jesuit origins, a fact that is openly admitted by its most ardent proponents. Folks, I spent 20 years within the Christian guilt and fear control matrix. I spent 20 years relying on trust of the unknown. No one can know the ways of God. His ways are above our ways. God moves in mysterious ways. I know that it doesn't make sense in the Bible, but just have faith. Just put it on the shelf. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Daugherty, New Cosmic Knowledge, is not willing to trust the unknown. Jeffrey Daugherty is not willing to trust the unknown, turn off my mind, and allow an alchemical transmission to bypass my mental faculties and begin to recode my vibrational signature and directly recode affect my DNA. When this practice is based on dubious anthropology and is thoroughly Pauline and Jesuit in origin. I'm not willing to go there. I've seen what happens when I just let go and let God. I've seen what happens when I don't think things through. I've seen what happens when I rely on trust of the unknown. I want to be divine, sovereign, and free. Divine, sovereign, free people don't trust the unknown. Divine, sovereign, and free people don't allow alchemical transmissions to come into their body without thinking about it, to recode their vibrational signature and their DNA, especially when they know that they're created by the founder of the fear and guilt control matrix and its army. Friends, don't let friends speak light language. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. You have listened to me ramble for how long has it been? Been a few minutes. I can't see on this PC. Let me go through the chat room and at least address your concerns if you want me to. If you have to go, we understand it. At least think about it. I'm guessing that someone's putting in websites or YouTube channels that are light language channels. Thank you for your kind words about Sandra and myself. Light language might be interesting. My husband yaks and yaks. I know how it is. Jeff, you should smoke a joint. I don't want to smoke a joint. I don't want to relax. John Rogers talks about altering DNA through light language. Jeff, are you aware of Lucius Trust? Kind of. I don't feel bad when I speak in light language. I didn't feel bad when I spoke in tongues either until I realized it was an archonic virus. Here's what's happening. As you're speaking in light language, as you are allowing your mind to think about this, folks, we want you to let your mind go blank. We want you to let your guard down of your mind. And we want you to start allowing this download that you don't understand. Don't think about it. Don't examine it. Blank out your mind. Folks, when they tell you blank out your mind, it ain't good stuff that's following. Blank out your mind and just let it come. Honda, Honda, Toyota. Hyundai, Kawasaki, Yamaha. It might sound beautiful. It might feel good. There's a reason why they want you to shut off your cognizant mind. There's a reason why they want you to shut down your analytical thinking faculties. And do you really think that anytime somebody wants you to shut down your cognitive mind, turn off your analytical faculties, you think that's a good thing? Or are they wanting you to do that so they can slip something in on you? It is a virus that comes in. It might even be the black goo that comes in and slowly but surely works its way throughout your entire being. And it's not just infecting your body. It's infecting your body and your subtle body, your spiritual body. It's a fear and guilt control matrix trapped in not only captivate your body, but your subtle body, your etheric body, your spirit body as well. Because if they can affect your spiritual body with a spiritual virus, they got you. Why am I no longer a light worker? Someone's talking about. Keep an eye on extremely high A and B UV. The Luciferians, Archons actually need us to ascend for their purpose. It's the same thing, Jeff, light language and speaking in tongues. Why do we always have to go there? I don't know. If you don't mind practicing something that's Pauline in nature, if you don't mind practicing something that's Jesuit in nature, have fun. And hopefully you won't get yourself so screwed up that I can't help pull you out of it. Roni B, this is brilliant. We used to communicate without speaking, even with animals. Isn't it interesting that the height of our spiritual beings' communication is telepathic? And what do they want us to do with light language? They want us to yak. Same reason why Christians don't want us to meditate. They want us to pray. So we'll never shut up long enough to hear the divine. It's the same reason light language wants you to talk, so you can't hear the divine. Plus, you can shut off your mind and be infected with an archonic virus that's going to trap your spirit within the fear and guilt control matrix. But it feels so good. I'm sorry. They could be reciting incantations from and for the rat bastard. Oh, yes, they could. Yes, they could. So you're saying don't do it? I'm saying listen to the evidence and do what you think is best. Do what you think is best. Nice to see a seeker of truth too. I don't think it would be any different from allowing something you don't know of to possess you, says April. I think she's right. Practice your own intuition and intention. How do you do that if you shut off your mind? Just asking. Just asking. Are the rattlesnakes still okay? Handling rattlesnakes is safer than light language. A rattlesnake will just kill your full body. F-O-O-L body. It's not going to kill your spirit. Very informative. I've never heard of this. Thank you, John Glenn. Then it is actually of God. What is its efficacy? Thank you, Scotty. I don't really speak in tongues too much anymore. Well, it's like saying I don't really shoot too much heroin anymore. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Why am I saying that today? I've tried most of the religions. I've come to realize that I want to talk to Source Creator. Thank you. Roman Hoax says, as you know, when you look deeply into a lot of stuff, you tend to find a Jesuit origin. Thank you, Jeff, for this information. Thank you, Nate, for thanking me. It's a hypnotic language. Yes, I agree 100%. Not really sure why Paul was concerned with the sex life of women. Because he wasn't included, it would be my guess. Thank you, Sandra D'Angelo. And I think, hello, Trisha G. I think I've come to the bottom. No, I haven't. Yeah, I think I have. How about that? I don't think I can shut my mind off ever. So is that a good thing? I don't know. It's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. All I do is deliver the mail. All I do is bring you to water. You decide if you want to drink. All I do is bring you to objective information. You decide if you want to think. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This has been the new Cosmic Knowledge Channel, and it still is. And we've talked tonight about light language, and we've done it Wayne Steiger PowerPoint style. If you have questions or if you have answers, email me. We now have newcosmicknowledge@gmail.com. And let me just give you some housekeeping. As you know, Sandra D'Angelo and I are now working together. She's my partner in this great work. And Sandra will be working side by side with me, helping me, and I'll be helping her. And she will be answering some of the emails that you send to me. She is going to push me and schedule more of spiritual work. And there's going to be some times when I am not the person to do the spiritual work that you're requesting. And I'm going to have Sandra contact you if she would be a better fit. So we're working side by side, hand in hand as equals in this work. And you're going to start hearing a little more from her as far as communications to newcosmickknowledge@gmail.com. So Gotham LTD and Christian Whistleblower@gmail.com will go away by June 1st. So Jeff shoots the piano player. Jeff wanted to shoot the piano player, but he didn't. Actually, Jeff sold his firearm during that time just in case. That's called wisdom. But anyway, look for more and more. Look for better and better. Look for higher and higher. Because we're about to take off like a rocket ship. We're about to take off like a rocket ship. So look for more information. Look for more videos from me. Look for more videos from Sandra. And folks, we need to take a look real quick. Let's take a look real quick. I asked you to do me a personal favor. I asked you to get Sandra D'Angelo's channel over 1,000 subscribers. Sandra Bullock. Sorry about that. Let me find this. Sandra D'Angelo YouTube. I'm not on my regular computer, so that's why it's a little bit hard for me. Sandra D'Angelo YouTube. And let's mute that and let's just go to the channel. Sorry about this, but I want to, and this is important to me. So if we look at this now, we can see that when I asked you to help get Sandra over 1,000 subscribers before her birthday, which is June the 5th, she was at about 475 or 6. She's now at 678. So let me say thank you so much for bringing her up 200 subscribers in just a few days. But we need to get to 1,000. And I would consider it a personal favor if you would go to her channel and subscribe. And tell your friends and neighbors, tell your enemies, your in-laws and your outlaws to subscribe to Sandra D'Angelo's channel. Now, am I telling you to subscribe to her channel because I think she's cute? Yeah. Am I telling you to subscribe to Sandra's channel because she's my sweetheart? Yeah. But more than that, I'm still bringing you new cosmic knowledge. And I'm asking you and encouraging you to subscribe to Sandra's channel because I'm here to help you. Not only are you doing me a personal favor, you'll be doing you a personal favor if you subscribe to this channel and watch these videos. And if you have children, you've got to watch this video right here. Empower our children. If every parent were to watch this video right here about empowering your children, it would change our planet within a generation. Go to the Sandra D'Angelo channel, subscribe to the Sandra D'Angelo channel. Help me help you. And let's get Sandra over 1,000 subscribers by her birthday on June the 5th. And we'll send all subscribers a cupcake. I don't know if we really will or not, but you know what I'm saying. I've done crazy things before. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your attention. If you want the MYSTECH bands that have changed my life, Sandra's life, Halo's life, I get testimonies every day. I would do a whole testimonial show, but I'm not on here to sell MYSTECH bands. I'm here to help you. Well, Jeff, why do you even mention them? Because it allows me to have a little bit of extra money to put gas in my tank, to go to Coral Castle, to go to Georgia Guidestones, to go to Acropolis in Nashville, to go to Brushy Mountain State Prison and spend the night there with Rex Bear, not just the two of us, but we're going overnight in a full-blown paranormal extravaganza, and that ain't free. But you are helping me to do stuff that you want to do and can't, that I can, and show you and bring you in and help you. So, help you help yourself. That's what I'm here to do. It's good stuff. It's fun stuff. It's powerful stuff. And help me help you. Just go on ahead and do the do. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, let me salute you, the Gospel Truth Army. Let me encourage you. You may hate me. You may think I'm stupid. You may think I'm ugly. You may think I'm mean. You may think I'm nasty. You may think like my mama and Sandra sometimes that I talk too much, and I might. But think about it. Consider it. Ponder it. How do you feel about letting something bypass your mind, activate your DNA, recalibrate your personal vibrational frequency that requires you to turn off your mind, turn off your brain, not think about it, and just trust us. Just trust Paul. Just trust the Jesuits. Because as Rex would say, it's all right. Go ahead and trust them. They love you so much. Aren't you glad? They love you so much. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This has been the New Cosmic Knowledge Light Language Extravaganza. And in the time-honored words heard throughout many courts of kings and queens over the years, ladies and gentlemen, don't shoot the messenger, but do guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. Do ask questions. Do question answers. That's all I'm doing. I'm asking questions. I'm questioning answers. And please, unindoctrinate yourself.